Dear students, welcome back. In the last video we have discussed about three refining techniques. So the next refining techniques that we are going to discuss is zone refining. So in this zone refining we take advantage of the principle that that impurities are more soluble in the molten state than in the solid state. Now here I have written a diagram here. So this is the impure metal. This is the impure metal. Now in this piece of impure metal, so you can find everywhere there is impurity will be spread over all the regions. Okay. Now, so as we know that impurities are preferred to, they are soluble in molten state, but they are not insoluble in solid state. Now here, when you melt some of the region, only this region, the impurities of this region will be soluble in that region. Okay. Now when you move this molten region or this heater, so the molten zone also shift to here. So after some time, if you move this up to here, so you will get a molten zone here. So the impurities present over here will be shifted to here. So like that, constantly you are moving this zone step by step. So at the end you will get impurities at the here. Now you have to repeat this procedure for several times. For many times when you repeat this, all the impurities present will move along with the molten zone as the heater. As this heater moves along with this metal piece, all these impurities will be collected at one corner. So now we have cornered these all the impurities at this region. Okay. So after that you can cut this piece of metal and use only this pure metal. So here you will not get any impurities, only impurities will be in this region. So this is how the zone refining works. So in this method we are more prefer to producing semiconductors and some other high purity elements like germanium, silicon, boron, gallium and indium. So this is the principle of zone refining. So zone refining is nothing but as you know, meaning of this zone is nothing but one portion. Okay. So we are moving the heater one portion to another portion, one portion to another portion, like that. But we know that impurities are more soluble, or they are soluble in molten state, but they are not soluble in solid state. Okay. So as you move this at the beginning, the molten state will be here. So impurities are soluble now. Now as you move this heater, the molten zone may shift up to here. So at this time these soluble impurities will also shift to here. So as you move this heater, the impurities will be collected, or these are cornered at one end. So you can cut this one end and you use only this pure metal. Okay. So this is how zone refining works. So the next refining technique is vapor phase refining. This is vapor phase refining. So here metal is converted into volatile compound which is collected and decomposed to give pure metal. Now here the first step is whichever the metal we want to purify or we want to remove the impurity, that should be converted into an volatile compound. So what is the meaning of volatile? Volatile is nothing but it can be easily evaporated. Okay, it can be easily evaporated. Now here first the metal which we want to purify or which we want to refine should be converted into an volatile compound. Okay. So for this, in order to do this refining, that two conditions are necessary. The first one is the metal should form volatile compound with an available reagent. So whatever the metal it may be, if it does not form volatile compound, then this method is not possible. So metal should form an volatile compound with the available reagent. And one more thing, that volatile compound which is formed by the metal and reagent should be easily decomposable, so that we can recover the metal very easily. So if the decomposable means, so if we are not able to recover that metal after it forms a volatile compound, or if the process is difficult, so that may not be the preferable refining technique. So if the metal forms volatile compound, and that volatile compound, if it can be easily recoverable, so metal from that volatile compound, if it can easily recoverable, then we can go for this wafer phase refining. So now there are two examples for this. One is Mond's process of refining nickel. So here nickel is heated with carbon monoxide, so at 330 to 350 Kelvin temperature, and it forms nickel carbonyl. So this is a volatile compound. This is a volatile compound. So as this forms volatile compound, okay, it can be easily evaporated. So the impurities will not form this compound. So the impurities will remain as such. Only the nickel in the metal, what we are taken metal, the metal present in this nickel will not form any volatile compound. Only nickel metal present in that isolated ore, so that will be converted into nickel carbonyl, and this nickel carbonyl can be easily evaporated because that is volatile. So that volatile liquid or the volatile compound is collected in another beaker. Okay, so then it is again it is heated to give nickel and carbonyl. So if you heat at 450 to 470 Kelvin, then you can separate this nickel and carbon monoxide. Okay, so this is how the purification of nickel can be done using the wafer phase refining. Okay, the next example for this wafer phase refining is Van Arkel method for refining zirconium and titanium. So here is also the principle is same, but these are discovered by different scientists, so the different names were given. So here instead of zirconium you can also use titanium. Okay, you can also use titanium. So zirconium which is heated in the presence of iodine. So this zirconium or the titanium, it may contain some amount of impurity within it. So that impurity will not form this compound, volatile compound. Only the zirconium metal will form this volatile compound. So this is volatile. This is volatile. So as this forms volatile compound, so this can be easily evaporated. So after evaporating and collecting in another container, so you can heat it at 1800 Kelvin. So you will get zirconium and iodine separately. So you will get pure metal zirconium. Impurities will remain as such. Okay. So this is the method of purifying or refining the nickel and zirconium and titanium. So this is one of the important questions for you. So it is asked in the final exams also. So the next one is chromatographic method. As you know, chromatographic method you have studied in your first year PUC. So this is based on the, it is based on the different capacity of the components of the mixtures to absorb in the adsorbent. So we have different examples for this. I can give any example. It may be gas chromatography, column chromatography, or paper chromatography, any kind of chromatographic technique. We are not going to explain in detail, but this is also one of the refining technique here. Okay, so there is stationary phase here. It may be solid or liquid. Okay, so we are adding the components or the metals having impurities. So metal and impurity, the capacity of the metals and impurities to absorb this, to attach to or the attract with the this stationary phase may be different. Okay, so somehow metal you will get here, or impurity may be attracted to this stationary phase, so that will remain here only. So you will get separate metals and impurities here. So that is what the chromatographic method is. So these are all the refining techniques. We have 6 refining techniques to purify the metals. Now here comes the last part of this chapter, that is uses of these metals. Okay, so first we'll discuss the uses of aluminum. So here aluminum, vapors of food or anything, so aluminum is aluminum utensils or vapors of food. So it is also used in paints. Okay, so then extraction of chromium and manganese. So what is this alloy? So alloy is nothing but it is a mixture of 2 metals. Okay, so aluminum along with other metals, it forms alloys. So these alloys are very useful in many industries. And let's come to the applications or the uses of copper. Copper, as you know, it is mainly used in electrical industry as a wire that carries current. Then water and steam pipes. Then alloys, as I told you here, alloys, this copper is also forms alloy. So example for this alloy is brass, that is copper with zinc, it is called brass. Then copper with tin, it is called bronze. So these are the 2 examples for alloys of copper. Then uses of zinc. So here zinc for galvanizing iron. So it is nothing but for iron. So as you may know, that is iron forms rusting when it is exposed to air and water. Now galvanizing is nothing but it is covering the surface of this iron by zinc, so that we can protect iron from rusting. Okay, so that is called galvanizing of iron. So it is also used in batteries. Also zinc forms alloys. So here brass, so here also I have mentioned that. So next German silver. So this is a mixture of 3 metals, that is copper, zinc and nickel. And zinc dust used in the manufacturing of dye stuffs and paints. So dye stuffs are nothing but coloring pigments and paints. Okay, and the last one is iron. So it is in railway sleepers, toys, wires, bolts, chain and automobile parts. So iron, you can give any number of or n number of examples or the uses of iron. So these are all the uses of these metals. So this ends the chapter, that is isolation of elements. So if you have any doubts in this chapter starting from the beginning, feel free to contact me and I will send you the notes in WhatsApp group. So I will also send you some assignment questions. So you have to submit it within the prescribed date. So we will meet in the next chapter. Thank you.